Before we jump into today's episode, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there something you keep thinking about, something you keep circling that you keep coming back to? Maybe it's a business, a creative project, a career change. Maybe it's just this quiet feeling that there's something more for you, but you can't quite put words to it yet. If that's you, I've created something called the Not Done Yet Spark Review. It's just 5 questions about your midlife dream or desires. And when you answer them, I'll send you a private voice note with what I noticed and what your next step might be. Sometimes we're so close to our own lives that we can't see what's keeping us stuck. And sometimes all it takes is someone listening differently to help you see your next step. If that sounds like something you'd like, you can find the Not Done Yet Spark at the link in the show notes, or you can just go to rachelaperry.com/spark. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to Not Done Yet, the podcast for midlife women who know deep down their story isn't finished. I'm your host, Rachel Perry, and here we're going to talk about what's really happening in this season of life, the identity shifts, the quiet questions, the courage it takes to listen to yourself again, what it actually looks like to step into what's next, and why our boobs are hitting our knees. If you've ever looked at your life and thought, wait, is this it? Girl, you're in the right place. Because midlife isn't the end of your story. It's the moment you start paying attention to it. So take a breath and let's talk about what's really going on and what you want to do with it. Because sister, you are not done yet. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Not Done Yet, the podcast for women who know deep down their story isn't finished. Today, I want to talk about something a friend said to me last week that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. And I even did a TikTok or a reel on this because it resonated so much, and it really did resonate with other people too. She said, sometimes I think 5 people live in my head at all times. And I think she just described what midlife feels like better than anything I've ever heard. I've been asking a question to the women in my life recently. It's just a simple question because I really wanted to do some research. I wanted to dive deeper into what midlife is for other people as well, because I have my experience, but I want to know if I'm alone in all of this. Are other people thinking the same thing? So I asked a simple question. I said, if we sat down together for 30 minutes, what conversation would feel most valuable to you right now? And one of my friends, she's divorced, she's in midlife. She's one of the most honest people I know, one of my dearest friends. She sent me back a message, and I want to read it to you almost exactly as she wrote it. And I share the things that about her because it's important, like that she's divorced, she's in midlife. She also has 4 kids, one in college, a senior, a sophomore, and then I think a 7th grader. So I'm sharing all of this because this is the life that she's in, as so many of us are, right? She said, right now, the things weighing on my mind are my weight, my exhaustion, my goals to fix those, money, whether I can ever retire, how much money I need to retire, why I have no desire to do anything, why I see all these people making money online and I have no idea how to do that, or even if I want to do it. And I feel bad that I work all day and then can't do the things with my kids. And then she said, those are the thoughts that literally ran through my mind in the last 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes. And then she said, I think 5 people live in my head sometimes. And I just sat there when I read that because I felt so completely seen by someone else's words. And then I thought, she's not alone in this, not even a little bit. And she did share that maybe she feels those things because she isn't married. Like maybe married women would have different thoughts, or they wouldn't have the heaviness that she's feeling. But here's the thing, and I want you to feel this for a second, okay? You wake up and your first thought is about your body, Maybe it's something that you ate yesterday. Maybe it's something that's been bothering you, a number on the scale, a pair of pants that doesn't fit the way it used to. And then your phone lights up. One of your kids needs something. And then you remember your mom has a doctor's appointment this week and you need to figure out if you can take her. And then somewhere in the back of your brain, a financial thing surfaces. Maybe it's a bill. Maybe it's a retirement account you haven't looked at in months. Maybe it's a credit card statement. Maybe it's a quiet anxiety about whether you're going to be okay. And then you catch your reflection walking past the bathroom mirror and have a feeling you don't quite have words for. And then you remember you forgot to schedule your mammogram again. And then you wonder if your husband seemed a little distant last night, or if you're just tired and you were reading into it. And then you realize you haven't moved your body in 4 days. And then your email is already full and you haven't even had coffee yet. Pause. It's 8:17 in the morning. That is the inside of a midlife woman's head on a regular day before anything has even happened yet. And somewhere in the middle of that, underneath all of it, there's something quieter, a question that doesn't get as much airtime as the appointments and the finances and the kids, but never fully goes away either. And that question is, who am I now? Right? Who am I? My friend called it 5 people, and I think that's exactly right. Because it's not just one thing. It's never just one thing. If only it could be just one thing, right? It's everything simultaneously, all on equal footing, all competing for the same limited bandwidth of a brain that is already running so many other programs in the background. There's the body person, the one thinking about weight and hormones and energy and what's changing and what to do about it and whether what you're doing is enough. Then there's the family person, the mom, right? The kids, whether they're, oh gosh, this one takes over a lot sometimes for me, whether they're little or grown, whether they need, too much or not enough, whether you're present enough, whether you're letting them struggle the right amount. That's the current story I'm dealing with. Or the wrong amount, the parents, what's coming? Are you prepared? Are you doing enough right now? Then there's the money person, the retirement calculator running in the background, the what if, the am I going to be okay, the I should be further along than this. Then there's the relationship person, the marriage or the absence of it, the connection or the distance, the when did we last have a real conversation that wasn't about logistics or kids. And then there's the 5th one, the one my friend didn't quite name, but I think she was pointing at it. The one asking, what do I actually want? Who am I now that my roles are shifting? What is this next part of my life supposed to look like? And why, with all of this running, why can I not seem to get my act together? 5 people all at once, all the freaking time. And here's what I think a lot of us do with that. We look at the weight of it, consciously or not, and we think, like, what is wrong with me? Are there other people that are dealing with this? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I focus? Why am I so overwhelmed? Why am I so exhausted when I haven't even done anything yet? Why can't I just pick one thing and deal with it? If only. Why do other women seem to hold all of this without falling apart? Do they have as much going on as I do? We take the weight of the list and then we turn it into evidence of our own failure. And I want you to sit with that for a second, because I think that's one of the most quietly damaging things we do to ourselves. The list is not evidence that there's something wrong with you. The list is just that heavy for everyone. And nobody told us it was going to be this heavy. Nobody sat us down at 35 and said, hey, listen, so in 10 to 15 years, you're going to feel crazy. Okay. You're going to be navigating the biggest identity transition of your life while simultaneously managing more logistical complexity than you ever managed before, while your body is doing things you did not authorize it to do. And your roles are all shifting at the same time. Nobody said that. But kind of, okay, thank goodness, because if someone had told me that, I would be dreading 50. I mean, it kind of was to begin with, but right? Like, no one tells us this. No one told us to expect it. So when it hits, and it hits all of us, we think it's a personal failing instead of a universal experience. But it's not a failing. It's midlife, and it's a lot. And I think we need to talk about this more. I shared a version of this episode on social media recently. Just the idea that 5 people live in my head. And y'all, the responses came in fast. Someone said, sometimes 6. Someone said, just wait until your mid-60s. That's when it got real for me. Someone else sent a broken heart emoji and just said, yep. Someone said 100 out of 100. And what struck me about every single one of those responses is what they weren't saying. Nobody said, here's how I fixed it. Nobody said, here's a strategy that helped me manage the overwhelm. They just said, me too. And I think that matters. I think that me too is actually what we need most. Not the Me Too movement, but like someone being like, yes, same girl, same. Let's make it that. But I think we need to start saying same. Not a fix, not a framework. Like just someone else saying, girl, I get you. I know exactly what you mean. I feel it too, and you're not the only one. My friend said 5 people live in her head, but I've been thinking about this since she said it, and I think there might actually be a 6th, like that commenter said, because underneath the body and the kids and the money and the parents and the what's next, there's something even quieter. Something that doesn't make as much noise as the other 5, but never fully goes away. And it's the identity question. And I think it's quieter because we don't feel like we have the energy or the bandwidth or even the know-how to recognize it, to really go there, right? Because we've talked about this before, we've spent decades knowing exactly who we are, right? We're the caretaker, the mother, the professional, the one who holds everything together and everyone together. And we've had roles that gave our days structure and lives meaning. And those roles are shifting now. The kids are older. I will say, I don't think that this is ever going to go away. The worry, right? The worry. And I know that, but it sucks. Like I mentioned this at the earlier in the episode, but my current concern is that I have sheltered John Mark. He's my oldest too much. And I do think that I have. And as a result, he hasn't had the experiences that other people maybe his age have. Now he is editing my podcast, so he's going to hear all of this, but we've had conversations about it. I think he being my first, I didn't really know what I was doing. And I wanted to protect him at all costs. And as a result, I think I sheltered him too much because, kids are not kind to kids who aren't like them. And I had a lot of experience with bullying when we moved here from the UK. And really my whole life in school, middle school, high school, I never quite fit. Right. And so many of us have that story. I mean, I just did a reel about how I went to Costco to get the Esprit sweatshirt because I always wanted an Esprit sweatshirt and I could never have one because they were too expensive. I wasn't a cool kid. Right. And now I'm like, but little did I know that at 51, Costco would be bringing them in and I would be going to buy one. But and so many other women have said the same thing, Gen X women. So I think that maybe there was that part as well. Like we just naturally want to protect our children. And then I suppose if we've had that experience, we don't want them to go through it. And the sad part of it is, or the important part of it is that they have to. That's how we grew up. And it's important for them to experience it as well, as much as that hurts our hearts. So looking back, I do wish that I hadn't sheltered him as much, but maybe that's just me being hard on myself. Maybe I didn't really shelter him too much. Maybe that's just me being one of those voices, right? Being one of those 6 voices. It's like, you didn't do a good enough job. Maybe that's a 7th voice. I don't know. But it's like we have this pressure to raise our kids well. And I have to say, John Mark is an incredible human. Like if you get to meet him, he's awesome. And I know that I'm his mom, but he really is an incredible human. All of our kids are, right? It's so cool to watch them as they age and become who they are, but we never stop worrying. I asked my husband, I was like, Mark, do you Like, is this something that you feel like you worry about all the time? And he's like, no. I was like, that must be nice. Like what? I mean, he does worry about them, but not like I do. So I'm just saying we got it rough here. Okay. But then let's also add in our parents need us differently. They're aging. So if your parents are still with us, it's a very different, if they're not, you've navigated that loss and you're still navigating that loss. And if they are, they're aging, and that's hard. That's hard for them and it's hard for us, right? How do we navigate this? Now our roles have changed. And then your career, right? Maybe it's changing. Maybe it's not changing. Maybe you want it to change. Maybe you're counting down the days till you can retire. Then you've got the body that we've lived in comfortably for decades, and now it's doing something new. Like it's doing a lot new, and not a lot of it is good. Not a lot of it is good, y'all. I'm going to the physical therapist for the first time today. Why? Because my hips hurt. One hip hurts if I walk too much. What? Like walking is supposed to be low impact, the best exercise you can do. Yeah, no, not this girl, not this girl. Another reason I'm going to the physical therapist is because if I stand too long, like if I'm baking at Christmas or whatever, I get a sharp pain in the middle of my back and I have to go lie down like immediately. What is that? Right? Our bodies are changing. It's like they're rebelling against us. And in the middle of all of those things, in the gap between who we were and who we're becoming, there's a question that we didn't expect to be asking in our late 40s and 50s. Who am I now? And maybe that's why some of us feel so exhausted, not just because of everything that we're carrying, but because we're carrying all of that while trying to answer a question that none of us expected to be asking at this stage of life. Who am I now? And I think that's the sixth person living in our heads, the woman we're becoming, the one we haven't fully met yet. And maybe underneath all of the noise on that list, she's the one we've been trying to hear all along. Maybe she's the one we should be giving more airtime to. Right? Like what if, I mean, it's so easy to say, but what if we were able to quiet those other noises, voices? I mean, is this like an episode of like multiple personality disorder? I'm not joking about that, but because that's a very serious thing. But I mean, it feels like it sometimes, right? We just have all of these things that we're worrying about. My friend said that those are what ran through her mind in the last 5 minutes. And I think most of us know exactly what that feels like. The weight of the list, the noise of the voices in our head, or the people in our head, the exhaustion of carrying all of it while also trying to figure out who you are in the middle of it, while also trying to just fulfill the responsibilities you have for that day. You are not the only one who feels this way. You're not even close. Okay. And I think it's time we started saying that out loud to each other. And that's what this podcast is for. Because the more we say it, the more we name it and share it and sit with it together, the less alone we all feel in it. I have a previous client who has said this. She said, I'm looking for a connection. I want to feel connected to other women in midlife who are going through the same things I'm going through. We are craving that because it does feel like we are alone as we navigate all of this, because we don't necessarily have a ton of time to talk with other people about it. And that's why I'm here. You're not done yet, my friend, and you're not alone. And we're going to navigate all of this together. Hey, and if this episode felt like someone's been reading your mind, girl, we need to be friends, preferably besties. But you can sign up, get on my list, go to rachelaperry.com/notdoneyet. The link is in the show notes. And listen, if you're carrying your own version of the list, right, and you want someone to help untangle it with you, girl, let's chat. The link is also in the show notes. You can grab a Not Done Yet session and you will walk away from that feeling completely transformed. You're not the only one, my friend, and you are not done yet. I will see you next week. Until then, my beautiful friends,